Good day, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Military and Foreign Affairs Network. I am your host, the voice of reason. Today, we are continuing our ongoing coverage of the war between the Russian Federation and Ukraine. So today, we are continuing to see Russian forces drive Ukrainian troops out of the Belgorod Oblast. We continue to see Russian aircraft, missiles, artillery pummel Ukrainian forces that had been in this area. It sounds like that, for the most part, much of these Ukrainian units have fled back across the border into Ukraine. And we were talking about this yesterday in terms of the why. Why would the Ukrainian military launch this operation? Yeah, granted, it would be more of a public relations stunt, so to speak. It would get a lot of attention that would be paid to other areas of the conflict. And I talked about the defensive failure at Bakhmut. Russian forces defeated Ukrainian forces in Bakhmut. And then we also talked about the operational pause for this very large counteroffensive. And we had also talked about the reason that pause button was hit was the counteroffensive was stopped was because of Russian airstrikes, cruise missile strikes against Ukrainian command and control, Ukrainian supply depots, Ukrainian forces in the field that were building up for this possible large-scale counteroffensive. Now, there's one other key point that I think this channel failed to talk about yesterday as well, that has been being discussed in some circles, and I think it's definitely worth having a talk about this, because in all probability there is a very good chance what I'm about to talk about could have happened. So what would happen, say, during the Iraq War, maybe in the Afghanistan War, when a visiting U.S. chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, let's hypothetically say that the head military leader of the United States was targeted and severely wounded, how much airtime would that get? Obviously, it would be highly talked about. It would be picked up by the international news, the international press, the press inside the United States, and it would be discussed as to why it occurred. Now, we've talked about the silence and the lack of information that gets out of especially Ukraine during this conflict, and that is in regards to casualties, the targeting of military sites. But there is talk, there is discussion that the Ukrainian commander-in-chief of its armed forces, obviously not Zelensky, but General Zaluzhny, again, the equivalent of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff of the Ukrainian armed forces, the head of the Ukrainian armed forces, may in fact right now be in a medically induced coma that was caused by a Russian strike. Now, again, because of the secretive nature of the policy of the Ukrainian military and the Ukrainian state not to report on anything at all, that this has been kept hidden. And it's possible that this operation in the Belgorod Oblast could be part of that that cover story to have you, the viewer of the conflict, here in the United States and abroad, to look here rather than over here. And we're looking over here at Kherson because allegedly the Russian attack was carried out in the area near the city of Kherson. We're not sure exactly where, but again, General Zaluzhny, head of the Ukrainian armed forces, may have become a casualty to a Russian missile strike. Now, we're still trying to verify that. We're trying to see if we can find some sort of information, some sort of example that could prove that Zaluzhny is still alive, but we have not been able to do that as of yet. Now, we're not saying he's dead either. There's a possibility, again, from reports that are circulating that could indicate that he is in a medically induced coma from a wound that he suffered during a Russian missile strike. We'll go over to the deep state map here, and as you can see here with the deep state map, which tends to be the best map in terms of reporting where some of the fighting is going and where some of the territory that has been recently taken by one party or the other, and you can clearly see here that they are no longer reporting that Ukrainian forces are conducting an operation west of Belgorod. The Russians are reporting that up to 75 Ukrainian troops. The Ukrainians are saying this is part of a Russian partisan group. But look, the reality is it is a Ukrainian-trained military unit staffed possibly by some peoples that were from the Russian Federation, but we believe that most of its makeup are in fact Ukrainians and then possibly some foreign volunteers as well. But we have definitely seen video evidence of the Russians hitting targets in this area, and we've seen what looked to be Ukrainian vehicles, some of which are U.S.-supplied Humvees that have been destroyed as well. But again, it's interesting that this occurs now right after the failure at Bakhmut, and then finally the operational pause button that occurred, possibly in the south towards Zaporizhzhia and Orikhiv. But again, we're going to continue to watch this very closely, see if we can validate if General Zaluzhny was in fact seriously injured in a Russian missile strike, given that no one has seen him in possibly, was it now 2 weeks? They think the strike may have occurred. But we don't know for certain, but it looks like something may have happened to General Zaluzhny. So we will keep you posted. We will continue our coverage. Thank you for joining us today. More to come. Have a good day.